You are watching Jenny's Biblical Messages, and boy, do I have something really interesting, an interesting find for you today. We are going to go over a part in the book of Matthew and a part in the book of Mark. And it's the same story. It's the power of faith over a demon. So let me just start off with telling you what this story is about. And then we're going to go over a huge difference that some Bibles have. I have 4 Bibles, and there are differences in the translation of the Bibles. So this is huge. And I know a lot of scholars and theologians, you guys know this stuff. But us new believers, this is a new find. So it's the power of faith over a demon. And you can find it in Matthew 17, verses 14 through 20. You can find it in Mark chapter 19, verses 14 through 29. So the gist of a story is this man sees the disciples and he brings his son to these disciples because he has a spirit that makes him unable to speak. This boy cannot speak. This boy has seizures that actually throw him down and makes him convulse all over. And he foams at the mouth. The father asked the disciples to cast the spirit out, but the disciples couldn't do it. So then Jesus comes along and he says, "What's going on here?" And the father explains, "I asked your disciples to cast this spirit out of my son, and they couldn't do it. Can you do it?" And Jesus is like, "If you have the belief, I can do it." And the man says, "I have the belief. Help me with my unbelief." So Jesus goes on and he casts the spirit, saying, "You mute and deaf spirit, I command you, come out of him and never enter him again." So here's where the story gets interesting. In Matthew, the story says in verse 20, "Because of your little faith," he told them, "for I assure you, you have faith the size of a mustard seed. You will tell this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you." Verse 21 says, "However, this kind does not come out except by prayer and fasting." Okay, does not come out except by prayer and fasting. Now we're going to move over to Mark, and Mark 28 just says, "After he went into the house, his disciples asked him privately, 'Why couldn't we drive him out?' And he told them, 'This kind of prayer can only come out by prayer and fasting.'" He omits the mustard seed. All right, now here is what is interesting. This particular Bible that I'm looking at right now, I never go through this Bible, and this is a gem of a Bible, especially if you are a woman. It's actually a woman's study Bible, but it's called the Holman Christian Standard Bible. Okay, this is what I was just reading out of. It has everything I just read. Okay, then I have the King James Version, and if you see down there, it says Holman. It's the Holman version. And this has everything that I just said. All right. Now let's go to, these are the 2 that I usually go through. This has been my favorite Bible, and this is the Maxwell Leadership Bible, and this is an NIV. Well, let me open this to Matthew. And something really interesting happens in Matthew 17. And I don't know if you can see this, but here, highlighted in pink, it tells the story of the mustard seed, and then it ends. It doesn't say by prayer and fasting. It goes from, if you can see that, it goes from verse 20 to 22. 21 is not in here. They completely take in verse 21 out of Matthew 17:21 is completely taken out, but they just go from Matthew 20 to 22. Here's another one. This is another Christian Standard Bible as the first one we looked at, but it is, oh, this is a Holman one too. I didn't even notice that. So this is a Holman one. This is that makes it even more interesting to me. Now we'll go to Matthew 17. Where is it? You unbelieving and perverse generation, how long must I be with you? Oh, okay. Because of your little faith, he told them, for truly I tell you, you have the faith the size of a mustard seed. You will tell this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible for you. The end. No 21. Goes on to 22 in the next story. And that is right here. Right here. I know that light makes it hard to see, but it's right there. It's where I have that little green star, which shows that there's no verse 21. So I asked AI, what's going on? Why do some Bibles have Matthew 21 and some don't have Matthew 21? And so AI here on my phone says Matthew 17:21 is not included in all Bibles because it is absent from the earliest and most reliable ancient Greek manuscripts that modern scholars use for translation. Biblical scholars and translators conclude, so they don't know, they're just concluding, this is the reason why, that the verse was likely a later addition by scribes to harmonize Matthew's gospel with the parallel passage in Mark. So Mark had it. So here's what happens. You're at a party. Or no, you didn't go to a party. Let's say you didn't go to a party, but you asked two of your closest friends what happened in this party. Well, your two friends are going to give you a little bit different version of what happened, of what was said at this party, right? Jesus is at this party, your pastor's at this party, let's say somebody's at this party, and the pastor says something, and two of them are going to remember two different parts of this. Well, Matthew remembered the mustard seed, Mark did not, but Matthew says prayer and fasting and Mark doesn't say prayer and fasting. I understand that you have these two different people and you can go through Matthew, Mark, Luke, mostly Matthew, Mark, Luke, because John's a little bit different in the Gospels. So they are all the Gospels reciting Jesus's life and what Jesus says, right? So they're all just a little bit different. If you read the different versions, you will get a little bit different story out of each of them because it is coming from four different people, right? So that's understandable that some things are omitted and some things are in there. What is more difficult for me to wrap my head around is why would they go from 20 to 22? And they say, because it just makes the flow better. But they're taking out a very important verse of prayer and fasting. Now, I've started fasting. I've started doing 24-hour, 30-hour, 48 hours. I have done a few different versions of fasting. I think what I like best is somewhere between 30 and 36, but that's for a whole nother lesson. But with that fasting, you are also supposed to have prayer, especially if you are wanting something big to happen in your life. You're wanting that job. You're wanting the restoration of your family. You want to pray for somebody that's going through something really big. Then you take that time and you pray and you fast. Now, here is the thing. Like, I am literally fasting food and I am doing it once a week. But you can fast TV, your phone, Oh gosh, that would kill us, wouldn't it? But you fast. You fast things that you really need. Now, I am fasting food because I'm on a weight loss journey and I'm doing all of these things, and fasting happens to be one of these things. So that's why I am literally fasting food and just having water and tea. But if you feel like you're in a season where you're looking at your phone too much, take away the social media. If you feel like you're in a season and you're watching more TV than you are praying, take that TV away. Take something away that's going to help you focus more on God. I will tell you, when you fast food, there comes a point after that 24 mark, like in that 30-hour mark, that your mind really becomes clear. And they say that you can hear God better at that point. Like you have more of an understanding of God, of your higher being. So that is, God is so good, and he's interweaving all of these things together. So one of the things that he wants us to do is he wants us to fast. And at that time of fasting, even unbelievers say that they are more in tune to a higher power, something that is greater than them. And we as Christians know that's God. Non-Christians say it's some sort of higher power, some sort of like this mental clarity. It's God. But guess what? You would think that you can't work as well because you're hungry. But when you get hungry, you just stop and you take a break, and I go outside and I take a little walk and I do those kinds of things. So I come back in and I'm regenerated, ready to work again. So why do they take prayer and fasting, that verse, out of some Bibles? It's a mystery. I don't know. That's what AI says. That's fine. Is there more to it? Is that really just all it is? I don't know. How many Bibles do you have, and how many can you look up and see if Matthew 17, verse 21 is in there? Have a blessed day, everybody.